30-minute reviews, Beware of Spoilers, and Exploring Hyperspace Lanes are all available ad-free. But if you want to support the show, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com and click the support button that's available on the Spotify website. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam, here today to talk about True Detective Season 4, Episodes 1 and 2. Now, I think I said before we weren't going to do these every week, because the issue is, True Detective, because it's a slow burn, I don't want to do this every week. I feel like how many times I thought, oh, well, they're acting really good, and the mystery is happening and all of that, and so we'll do this every other week. So, even number of episodes, we will, we'll talk about what's going on in the last two. But I think that it is an odd choice to tie so much of this season to Season 1. Because True Detective is an anthological show. It's designed to be watched where you can jump into any season, watch it, and not worry about, having to remember continuity. By taking the show and trying to infuse it with continuity, especially for the season that everyone loved. I don't recall much of Season 2 at all, including the cast. Season 3, I remember Mahershala Ali was in. Season 1 is the one that everyone remembers, with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey and Alexandra Daddario, and that's the season everyone remembers. The issue is, and when I say remembers, I mean, has a cursory knowledge that it existed. If you ask someone True Detective, oh, the show with Woody Harrelson and, with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, that would be, it that they remember. Because then the next seasons don't reference the last, it's just an anthology show. So, to sit here and tie so much of this back to that first season, where it's oh, people will remember this, people will remember that season. It's well, let's rephrase that. People will remember the fact that season exists. They don't remember the specifics. And I watched that season when it aired, back in 10 years ago at this point. Maybe a little more. But I was definitely still in college when that season came out. And I think it was 10 years ago. I want to say it was when I was a sophomore. I watched that season. If you asked me to name the characters, I couldn't do it because I have not watched it since. I'm not, Peter watched it more recently. But I watched it when it came out, enjoyed it, and was kind of alright, moving along then. It's that kind of thing where it's you just going to remember all of this and have this all tie together. I mean, look, the setting is great, and they're using the setting to great effect. I really like the story so far. Callie Rise and Jodie Foster are doing great jobs, in this, and the show is good. The slow and deliberate pacing is working for me. It's just, is this gonna resolve being tied to the big, what's it called? The big, whatever it was in Season 1. Is this going to tie together? I don't think so. I would hope not. Because if so, it's why are we not advertising? Had they said to me, hey, you might want to rewatch Season 1 of True Detective before this season comes out, I may have done it. Because I would have, it's enjoyable. But the issue is too, it's like, oh, okay, I will watch that to refresh my memory, so that way I understand what's going on in this season. If that's not happening, then like, these connections better be superficial at best. Like, these connections better be superficial at best, and not directly tied. Because I feel like they're just poorly done then, and it doesn't speak well. What it feels like is they waited too long between seasons. Because keep in mind, and this is an industry-wide issue. This isn't a True Detective issue. This is season 4. It's been 10 years since season 1 came out. Like, this is an issue that's plaguing every facet of it. Whereas, like, Andor's 3 years between seasons. Like, it's just that the amount of time between entries is getting long for television, and it's something where it's like, when you had it annual, and you were spending, 30 hours or 23 hours a year getting to know a character, like, you were spending that time well, and then next year it's like, okay, now we're back, same time, same place, alright, we got this, we are on board, we understand what's going on. So there is some there. To be like, okay, so now we're gonna do years in between, and be like, okay, well, you may not remember because it's been so long since you watched it, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw it, like, now you have to rewatch an entire season of TV that you already watched to get it. And I think that is part of the problem. That's kind of where the problem arises for me in a lot of these situations. I would be kind of interested to see, where this goes and how this works. But I don't know. I'm just trying to, like, they need to fix this issue. Like, there is no reason why they can't get this to be annual. And look, I'm not saying they're one-to-one comparisons, but Fargo is another crime show that is anthological in nature. Fargo is another crime show where each season doesn't connect to the last. It is another, true crime thing, or what was the other one? Or Feud, or American Horror Story, that come out reasonably annual. And if they tied in stuff from past seasons, I feel like it would work a little bit better. But because we are going, so this is something that we're doing now that happened 10 years ago, hopefully you remember. It's like, when it's like, it's the symbol from the first season. I'm like, I don't fucking remember that. I guess there was a fucked up thing that was happening with the birds. Like, what the fuck? Like, I was just kind of, baffled by that choice. But the show itself is enjoyable. It's just where it loses me is taking the time to, sit here and be like, okay, well, you have to understand all this other stuff, too. Like, and before anyone says, like, but you haven't criticized Marvel for that, because I know that's fucking coming, the difference is, like, say what you will, but if you're watching it as it happens, it's not that long between entries to sit here and keep in mind what's happening. Like, 10 years between the last time we saw anything with this and this is a long time. It's a long time. But we'll wrap up there for today. Tonight we'll be talking about American Fiction, which I'll be going to see. Tomorrow we'll do Percy Jackson and the Olympians. We will be doing that new show, Peter Capaldi, and we will be doing Masters of the Air, both on Apple TV+. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.